So let's look at the answer. Let's look at the answers that you found. So we're looking at 0.7, which means that we need a number line of 0 and 1. We know that right here is 0.5 and right here is 0.7. So 0.7 is closer to 1. Like my really messy one, I'll try to have better handwriting next time. Now for number 2, we're looking at 4 3/10. So that means our number line is going to be 4 and 5. Right here in the middle is 4.5 or 4 5/10. And we're looking at 4, here's 4.1, 4.2, 4.3, and 4.4. So 4.3 is right here. We see it is closer to 4. So the answer is, the nearest whole number is 4. For number 3, we're looking at 4500s. Ooh, my pencil. We're looking at 4500s. Draw the number line from 0 to 1. We know right here is 0.5. Right here is 0.4. And right here is 0.45. Because it's halfway between 0.4 and 0.5. With this, we see that 4500ths is just a tiny bit closer to 0 than to 1. So the answer is 0. Around 4500ths, the nearest whole number is 0. And finally, we will talk about 12 5300ths. We have a number line that begins with 12 and ends with 13, because we're rounding to the nearest whole number. We know that we're talking about 12.5 in the middle. And because we're talking about hundreds, we also need to draw the next biggest hundredths so that we can get an idea of where 12 5300ths is. This blue line is 12.51, 52, 53, 54, 55, 56, 57, 58, 59. So 53 is right there. It's right there. And we can see that just barely 12 5300ths is closer to 13. It is above, it's greater than 12.5. So the answer is, rounded to the nearest whole number, is 13. We spent a lot of time talking about rounding to the nearest whole number, but the whole number is not the only place that we can round to. So here we have a problem that says Dion's height is 0.83 meters or 83 hundredths of a meter. Round 83 hundredths of a meter to the nearest tenth of a meter. So we need to look at our numbers chart with the decimal right here, tenths here, hundredths here. We're going to round to the tenths place, so we need to look at the hundredths. In our number line, we can see just that. We're rounding to the nearest tenths place, so we have the 2 tenths that it's between. 83 hundredths has a 0.8 below and a 0.9 above. Here, right in the middle, is 0.85 or 85 hundredths. And we can see that 83 hundredths here is closer to 8. If we look at a place value chart, we will see that when we round to, say, tens or hundreds or the nearest whole number, we always look at the number directly to the right of that place value. So if we were to round 47 to the nearest tens, we would look at the ones place value to see if we would move the tens up or down. If we were to look at 57.3 rounded to the nearest whole number, this would be the whole number that we're rounding to. We look at to the right to see if the whole number goes up and down or down. This would be rounded to 57. This one would be rounded to 50. Okay? So in the same sense, if we wanted to round something to the nearest tenths place, then we would have to look at the hundredths place to see if this number would go up and down. For example, if we have 15 and 23 hundredths rounded to the nearest tenths place, we look at the hundredths. If it's greater or equal to 5, we'll round the hundredths up. If it is less than 5, then we'll round the hundredths down. I would like you to do this one on your own and see what you come up with. The problem says round 1 75 hundredths to the nearest tenths. So we have 1 7 tenths on one side, since we're rounding the nearest tenths, 1 8 tenths on the other side, and right in the middle is 1 75 hundredths. We know our rule says if the number in the space to the right of the place value is 5 or bigger, we round up. So we know the answer to the nearest tenth is 1.8. Finally, here is a bonus question. Let's read it together. A number has 2 decimal places. When rounded, it is 1 7 tenths. When rounded to the nearest tenth, what number could it be? So we know that it's rounded to 1 7 tenths, but let's put in these other things on the other side. Okay? Why are the green numbers the possible numbers? What can you tell me about rounding that tells you if your number is 1.65 or 1 65 hundredths, when we round to the nearest tenths, we get 1 7 tenths. Right in the answer box, the answer, how you could explain the answer to this question. Why do any of these examples round to 1 7 tenths?